Hello, everybody. My name is Dusty Whirl. I work with the Texas Homeless Network as the Policy and Planning Coordinator. And today we're going to go over CoC rapid rehousing rent calculation. So, what are rent calculation requirements from the CoC interim rule? Summarize what's there is that agencies have to follow their CoC's written standards. With that being said, I want to throw a quick disclaimer out there. Everything moving forward is specific to the Texas Balance Estate CoC. So if you're watching this and you're from another CoC, our information presented here will not be relevant to you, and you will need to reach out to your local CoC for the specific requirements and any processes that you have. So that being said, the Texas Balance Estate CoC written standards of service delivery requirements state utilizing a progressive engagement approach, RRH projects provide financial assistance to cover move-in costs, deposits, and the rental and or utility assistance necessary to allow individuals and families to move immediately out of home and to stabilize in permanent housing. So essentially put what that means is they have to use some form of a progressive model of their choice. With that being said, while agencies can have different approaches or methods to calculating rent, agencies must be consistent with the approach that they use across all participants. Here at the THN, the planning team has created a method using a calculator approach, the worksheet approach, to for agencies to calculate rent contributions to participants. We call it the CoC RRH rent calculator. We strongly encourage agencies to use this approach because if someone is requesting assistance through TA, we are able to quickly and more readily available help us provide that assistance without having to take the time to have you explain how you're calculating rent and verifying that it matches our written standard requirements. Plus, this allows for the entire CoC to be more uniform from one side of the area to the other side. Because we all know that individuals experiencing homeless sometimes moves from city to city in cases, or if they need to go live closer to family that's on the other side of the state, they're less likely to have to learn something totally new with how one agency might do it compared to another. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start the process of learning how to use this. So as you can see, this is the our document here. So there's two tabs at the bottom. The income calculation, this is where you're going to be calculating the monthly income of somebody. And the subsidy calculation side will show you how to calculate the rent contribution. So step one is answering these questions as they come. So number of incomes in the household, you would just put, for this example, one. And then you would move down to wage and employment section. If an individual doesn't have a wage or an employment, go ahead and skip this section and leave it blank and move on to if they have unemployment income or other household incomes. We'll get to those in a second, though. So for this example, this person gets paid twice a month. I already went ahead and populated the dates for this pay periods. Let's say they work part-time, they're making about $250 a check. So that brings the total to 500. This will calculate the total for you down here as well, and especially if there's another individual like a roommate or spouse that may be included in the household income. And under the additional notes or information section here, you can go ahead and add things like rate of pay, full-time, part-time status, name of the employer, or any other relevant employment information that relates to their wages. Once that section is done, you can go ahead now to unemployment income. Because this individual has an income, he does not have unemployment benefits, so you would leave that as 0, or you could put 0 in if you're like, or just leave it blank. It will update here for you if the person does have unemployment benefits, though. You want to use information, though, from the last 30 days, same as with their wages. However, you can use up to 90-day-old statements as long as they're still current and relevant. But we strongly encourage to be more recent than that. So once there in this example, like I said, he doesn't have any unemployment benefits, so we're going to leave that blank. And we'll move to other income and benefits. So here, same concept applies. 30 days is what you're looking for, if it's possible. Otherwise, anything dated within the last 90 days is okay to use. So For this section, general assistance, think of it as SNAP, TANF, things like that. Um, in this case scenario, he receives about $125 a month in SNAP benefits. The next step here, section here is child support. This individual does not receive child support. So we can go ahead and put a zero there or leave it blank. They also do not get SSI or SSDI at this time. So we'll go ahead and put that to zero as well or leave it blank. There's no retirement or pension that they're receiving, so leave blank if you would like, or add a zero. And then the section here, others, are for the unique situations of the individuals you're serving. It could be, for example, they have a friend who provides $20 a month for food, and it's something that's going to be consistently reliable. You would want to go ahead and add that in there for that person. But this is tailored and unique to their situation and how they're getting income. So again, it calculates everything for you with the total at the bottom and then brings it down here. It will do the same with column two, with this column, and then add them together. There at the bottom on row 57, it goes ahead and does the calculation for you, the total. So in this case, it's $625. So step one is done. You've calculated their monthly income. So after that's completed, you can move to the subsidy calculation page, and you'll fill out everything similar to before. So for this side, you're going to put today's date. You're going to select when their lease agreement is. So if that wasn't there, you'll just double click it. Well, it was double clicking there. Otherwise, you'll just put the day's date in there. So for example, this example is going to be the 2/24 of 25. The tenant's name is Bob. Tenant address 111 South Street, Brownsville, Texas. And then from there, you'll fill out the worksheet here. So in question one, what is the total household monthly income? That is carried over for you. So 625 is there. And then what is the contract rent? This is your leasing rent. So for this example, we'll just say it's $1,000. You'll go ahead and put it there. And then question three, are there utilities included with the monthly rent? It's important to check the leasing document, because it will tell you what is and isn't included in the rent, or what at least is the obligation of the participant. It is very common nowadays to see every utility being put towards the tenant. So be mindful of that. However, there are cases where you can find all bills included um, units. So, for example, if this was an all bill included unit, we would switch this to from a no to a yes. And then you would just skip this section here and go straight to number four. However, most cases you're not doing that, so it would be no. So in this section, you're utilizing the utility allowance schedule. This can be to you by your local PHA. There's also another training video by THN out there that goes into great detail about how to utilize the document, how to read it, things like that. We won't go into that today, but I will link that training in the description below the video. So for example, everything here is using electricity, so we're going to have them just plug in the numbers. I'm using random numbers today, but you would get this information from the utility allowance. So let's just say other would be another 15, appliances 10, and then the miscellaneous category, water, sewer, trash collection, we'll just say 25. And it does again calculate for you $85. So number four, the total gross rent, including utilities, is about $1,085. So your next step is verifying fair market value. Rent. So we've included the rent link for fiscal year 2025. This gets updated every year around the end of October. How to use it quickly, you just go down, find the state. We're in Texas. We'll pick a random county. We said it was Comel, technically, New Braunfels. So we'll go to Comel County. Right there in the next screen. Because this is Comel County is included into the San Antonio, Bexar County metropolitan area. You are going to have to look for the specific zip code that you're looking for. So in this case, I know the zip code, one of the zip code is 78130. So we're right here. in its structured efficiency, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom. Example of this one, it's a 1 bedroom. So we'll take 1350, put it here. Don't copy and paste because you'll delete the formatting. But 1350 there. And then step 6 is important. Step 5 and 6 are important. Step 5, you're just verifying that the rent is fair to the market. But in CoC requirements, you are allowed to go above the fair market rent only if the rent is considered reasonable. You can do it once you've done a rent reasonable study. Concern is if you go above fair market rent all the time, you could run out of money quicker and may not have enough funding to last the year or to help as many people as you could otherwise. So please keep that in mind if you're looking for things above or to get things above fair market rent. So step 6, we're not going to go into detail about how to calculate rent reasonableness. What I will say though is there'll be another training video at a later date that go into detail how to calculate and how to look for rent reasonableness in your community. Well, let's say, for example, rent reasonableness was $1,100, right? And then question 7 is going to say, is the rent equal to or lower to number 6? I mean, I'm sorry. So in this case, it's no. However, says remember, the response to this is no. The apartment is equal is the apartment is not able to have CoC funds used due to being unreasonable. However, in this case, it's a yes, and you will move forward. This is a CoC requirement. You cannot go above rent reasonableness. Again, there'll be a training on this posted later. And then steps 8 through 11 break down automatically based on 25%, 50%, 75%, 100% of their income. So down below is where your utility subsidy payments show up. Month 1 through 2 is we're assuming that most agencies are going to cover 100% right away. So the first month's rent and utility costs all is covered. The tenant is paying nothing. Month 3 through 6, this is looking at 25%, as you can see here. The agency is paying now $929, where the participant is paying $71. However, there's the utility allowance section here on row 49. This is the amount that the utility gets for the allowance. It is taken out of row B. So it's taken off the top of what they owe. How they choose to pay for their rent is up to them at that point, but they do not get cash. The only time you would want to give them a choice is if there is no income, and then they get a choice between the agency paying for the utilities directly or giving them the money to go pay for it. But in the cases where they have income, it is taken off of the portion they owe. So for months 10 through 15, 50%, 227. And again, 850 is removed. We can verify your numbers look right by looking for this is at the 50% mark. So number 9 is 312. So basically it's 312 minus 85, which is 227. Program is now doing 773. And then months 16 through 22, 617 and 383. Finally, on the 23 to 24th month, the utility, the is paying everything, and then program exit. Now, in this case, this person would be maxing out all their income just for rent. So the idea is you'd be progressively engaging them in increasing their income either through Social Security or through job skills training, things like that to help them increase while you make the decision to while the income is being increased, you then increase their rent as well. This is one model. We're using a 25, 50, 75% approach to progressive engagement. However, we also know that participants need are different. So if for some reason the participant is unable to still at the week, months, 50, they're not really able to pay, they just lost their job, you can go back and refill this out to get an updated set of numbers to make requests for. Once that is completed, you'll move down to monthly subsidiary. You would put the payment period. So, for example, this would be for February total subsidiary payment to the landlord. So in this case, it'd be $1,000. Total utility allowance, this would be 85. Then you put the utility type. So if it's electric, you'd put the electric and the account number with it. If it's also for water, you would want to put the utility type and account. Same thing as many times you need for how many utilities there are that's being paid for. And then you would sign it. That is how you would calculate rent using our process. So I've included additional resources. There is the CoC interim rule. What is referenced here is what is presented in the slide, earlier slide about the requirements. There's also a link to the Texas BOS CoC written standards here. In the video below, there will be the links to the utility allowance training video as well as the calculator demonstrated here today. I've also included a link for HUD Exchange virtual binders, as there's some information that can be helpful for rent calculation and the requirements around all that as well. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, please reach out to texasboscoc@thn.org, or if you know your regional coordinator, feel free to reach out to them as well. Again, thank you.